Hi there, everyone. Lauren Tucker here, your professor for SPEC 505. Thank you so much for your flexibility in this first week. So I just want to use this video to review the syllabus for you. So you have access to the syllabus, the link through the Google Drive. And that's just so that if we need to make any updates or anything, I will add right underneath the title, updated, and the last date. So I'm going to use this as today, 1/18/19. And so I'll also highlight it in a specific color so that you can see if there are any updates that were made. They'll all be in green so that you can kind of track and see any changes that were made. So here's my office. So I'm in Mercy 318, which is all the way at the end of the hallway. My office hours are Wednesday, 9:30 to 12:30, but it's also by appointment. So if that time doesn't work for you, please let me know. And then I can provide support at other times. We can also be really flexible and do FaceTime or Skype appointments, so I can be very flexible. This is my cell phone. Please feel free to text me if you guys have any questions about anything. If you're a little bit new to hybrid or online learning, it might be a little overwhelming at times, and sometimes it can just be quicker to communicate via text message, so please feel free. I'm trusting everyone that we won't abuse the communication. Just know that I have 3 little ones at home, so I will go to sleep at 8:30. I'm on Do Not Disturb, so it's okay if you text me after that, but I won't get back to you until the morning. So here's the course description. Really what we're looking at is meeting the needs of students with a wide variety of learning abilities through assistive technology. So looking at the law and just really touching the surface of assistive technology in a wide variety of areas. So here's the link to our Department of Education conceptual framework. And so I just kind of have written out how the assistive technology will support all the different aspects of the framework. So looking at our commitment to diversity. So our course objectives. So we're going to start off by looking at the law as it relates to assistive technology in the IEP. We are going to evaluate the effectiveness of visual and hearing, communication, reading, writing, math, daily living. We will look at the process of an assistive technology evaluation, and we'll look at implementation. And then you will also create a professional growth plan to monitor the field, because unfortunately and fortunately, pros and cons, the field changes so fast. So literally by next semester, you will probably then there will be new things out there. So you kind of want to be able to keep yourself updated. So here are the course outcomes. So the course textbooks here, we have one major textbook, and this is this Dell, Newton, and Petroff book, Assistive Technology in the Classroom, Enhancing the School Experiences of Students, the 3rd edition. And the Connecticut Department of Education AT Guidelines, which is available online. So here are your assignments. So your professional growth resource, which is 10% of your grade. Throughout this course, I am going to introduce to you a wide variety of professional growth resources. Again, like I said, it's just to help you keep updated in the field. What I would like you to do, and we're going to talk about this next week when we meet in class, but these are the CEC standards. Sorry. Here we are. We're adding in. I brought you over to where I am. So these are the CEC standards. The CEC stands for the Council for Exceptional Children, which is the accrediting body for special ed. These are the standards for an advanced special education technology specialist. So next week, what we're going to do is you're going to look through these standards and you're going to rate yourself and find either a skill or a knowledge that you find yourself weak in so that you'd like to reinforce a little bit. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to the syllabus here. So then what you'll do is throughout the course, as I'm introducing different supports, you're going to identify at least one knowledge or skill area under each of the 7 strands and identify at least 2 resources. And you'll provide a brief explanation. We'll talk a little bit more about this. There's also an example uploaded on Blackboard under assignments. So essentially you'll pick under each of the 7 standards, you'll pick a skill or a knowledge that you feel weak in, and you'll find 2 supports to help you build your knowledge in that area. So the next one is your assistive technology portfolio. We're going to look at a lot of different resources in this class. So I want you to compile them all together. What is very important here is I want this to be meaningful to you professionally. I kind of hope that this is something that you'll be very proud of, and maybe you'll add to your resume as you're either looking for jobs or just kind of to add another professional dimension to yourself. So really it's just looking at how can you highlight your knowledge of the AT process and all of the different tools that we're reviewing. So what I would like you to do is use a Google site. If you have another website engine that you really like, I'm definitely open, but I think Google Sites works really well. This is my Gmail account that I want you to make sure that you share everything with me. So I would recommend creating a folder for SPEC 505 and sharing everything in there with me and sharing your site with me. And we'll talk a little bit more about this in week 2, or you can jot this down as one of your questions if you want to go over this a little bit more. But these are the following quick tips. So think of them a little bit like your notes from these classes. And so I'm hoping that you are going to be building this throughout the semester so that it's not something that at the end of the semester, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to pull it all together. So these are the little descriptions. And as we go through each class, you're going to be building them. So next week when we work together, you're actually going to start your Universal Design for Learning and your SET Framework 1, because those are 2 topics that we're going over in class. And then you have quick tips for reading, writing, math, transition, behavior, and communication. And so those are all separate ones, and they're 4 points each. And so after each of those classes, you'll kind of take a task and align it to a tool. And then you'll have a guide to access. And then the major assignment for this particular course is a trial and implementation. If you have access to students, I am hoping that you can actually do this. So the trial is the first part. So you're going to identify a target student who would benefit from assistive technology. So after conducting an observation of the student in an inclusive classroom and discussing student needs with the classroom teacher, you're going to gather information and areas of difficulty for the student. You will align student challenges to academic tasks, IEP goals and objectives, and grade level Common Core state standards. Based on the knowledge from, again, we'll talk about this next week, but the student environment tasks, you'll identify features of tools that would benefit the student. Then you'll pick 2 tools to trial with the student and design a trial with data collection to establish the most effective tool. What is really important here and what we're emphasizing is database decision making. We'll talk again next week a little bit more about the importance of picking a tool that is best for the student, not just picking a tool because it's new and it's super cool. And then the second portion is your implementation. So based on this information, you're going to make recommendations of low, mid, and high tech trials with corresponding data collection protocols and training documents for parents included. I want you to remember that if you are doing this with a real student, maintain student confidentiality using synonyms for the target student, teacher, and school. The write-up should include the information listed below. So here's your rubric here. And again, we'll go over this as it's getting closer, but I would like you, and as I've written out in the syllabus, to really start this project now so that, again, it's something that we can work through. And I'm hoping that you can work with a student this semester. So you have your sections and then your points. So you're going to complete a SET framework on the student, answering guiding questions included in that document. And I also gave you a template if you would like. You will choose 1 task or an IEP objective to be your unit of analysis. We will work with that next week and the week after, kind of practicing that. You'll match 2 tools that can be low, mid, or high tech. You'll provide an explanation as to why the features are appropriate for the student. And you'll create a chart with the first column listing the features needed by the student and the next 2 columns, the features included in the tools. And I have a template for you as well. You'll create a data collection instrument to monitor the effectiveness of the tools. And then you'll describe where and when the tools will be utilized with the student, why, what the grade level Common Core state standards will be supported by AT and why. And you'll create a training support paper or video to facilitate implementation and technical aspects accessible for school professionals and parents to utilize at home. So you're going to create the training support. And you'll also create data collection instrument for the long term to track the fidelity and effectiveness of the AT implementation. You're going to submit everything on Blackboard. For the most part, they're going to be compiled in your AT portfolio. So here's the grading. So here's your percentages. So we have participation, online class activities, professional growth resources, the portfolio, and the trial. So important information. So we're going to use all sorts of different things in order to accomplish our class goals. Please notify me by email or text message if you're going to miss a class. Make sure we have to complete every assignment. Be sure to revise all of your writing work. Your AT trial and implementation plan will be posted in live text, so that will be important. Late assignments will have a reduction in your grade unless you talk to me beforehand, so please make sure. Make sure that you're using your own work. In accessibility, so I'm really passionate about making sure that everyone can access my class regardless. So if you have a disability, please contact me and we can talk about your accommodations. But also if you're finding that there's something that you might just benefit from, a different presentation of the notes or different copies, please let me know because I'm really passionate about making sure this course can be better for you. Please make sure if you ever feel uncomfortable or anything, please feel free to contact me. Center for Academic Excellence is available. If you need the demographic form. So here's our meeting times grid that I was able to establish from everyone. I'm going to insert this as an announcement as well. But for the most part, we're going to meet on Wednesdays. We have one late one. Our first meeting will be 6:45 to 9:15, but for the most part, we're going to do that 4 to 6:30 p.m. in Lynch 207. So these are the dates, so please make sure you write those down. And so here's the course calendar. So what I've done for you is I've color-coded it, so everything in blue is when we are meeting online. So you can see our week 1 online. So you have your content here, and then your readings in preparation for week 2. So on and so forth. So this document, you can click through the links. So you can see week 2, we've got our topic. We're going to talk about this professional growth plan resource. And then I'm really trying to move you along through your AT trial throughout the syllabus. So I want you to just make sure that you're checking in with these things and follow the pacing of the syllabus, just so that everything isn't left to the end. So you can also see as well that I've highlighted in blue or aqua, any of the handouts that you are creating for your AT portfolio, again, so that we can kind of keep on track so that you're not leaving things for the end of the semester. So we've got white is when we're meeting in class, and then the blue is when we're meeting online. So here's the syllabus. So again, please write down any questions that you have so I can go over them in class next week. But here is our syllabus, all nicely color-coded. And your participation rubric here is down at the bottom. And that is our syllabus. So again, please make sure you write down any questions for me so that I can address them in class for you. And I will see you next week, everyone.